Good afternoon. I pray this finds you well as you take time to listen to and consider a few points that I wish to make in regards to the importance of analyzing Old Testament themes. Whereas it would be practically impossible to consider all of the themes embedded in the Old Testament, I would like to consider for just a moment the covenant relationship God established with Israel in the Old Testament. The Old Testament presents a profound narrative of redemptive history as seen through God's perspective of the covenant relationship he made with his people, which was revealed through the covenants he established with Adam, with Noah, with Moses, with Abraham, with David. And in considering what is truly a fundamental area of theology, I think it's of importance to first and foremost establish a biblical perspective and understanding of the concept of covenant. A covenant can be likened to a contract or an agreement that God initiates and maintains with mankind, with the end goal of bringing blessings to his people, to his creation. Speaking in modern terms, probably the marriage relationship is the most closely relatable institution that we have today for comparison purposes. When a man and a woman enter into a covenant to live together as husband and wife, it's with the idea of joining together in agreement that their lives would be more fruitful, more productive, more enjoyable, living together within the context of the blessings of marriage. And as such, they make a covenant with one another, a formal binding agreement. And in much the same way, God, since Old Testament times, has bound himself to mankind through covenant, through the covenant relationship. As children of God, we believe that the Old Testament teaches and reveals that God actually established his first covenant with Adam, providing the privilege of living in perfect harmony with God in the Garden of Eden, as long as Adam lived up to his responsibility of living in obedience to God. However, we know that Adam broke this covenant and was as a result punished. We also know, moving further into the Old Testament, that God destroyed all of mankind with the flood as a result of their sinful nature. But at the exact same time, he was actually making a covenant with Noah to save him and his family in order to reestablish God's people here on earth. And as we continue down the line of history, we also find God making a covenant with Abraham, promising to bless him with descendants as numerous as the stars. But again, there was the requirement of obedience on the part of Abraham. The Old Testament continues. As one has the opportunity to study the life of Moses, we see that God sent Moses to deliver Israel from slavery in Egypt, and as a result made a covenant to establish God's holy nation. And then there's also the covenant relationship God established with David, promising an eternal throne for a descendant of David's lineage. Understanding the implications and importance of each of these covenant relationships in truth lays the foundation for one to understand the ultimate covenant ever established by God for his people, and that is the covenant God provided through Jesus Christ. God sent his only Son, whose life and ultimately death established God's covenant of salvation for all those who believe in him. The Bible outlines from the very beginning the importance of the covenant relationship that God has desired to have with his creation. And understanding these individual covenants established by God lay the foundation for the concept of covenant theology. The biblical narrative that we have outlines this elemental teaching in both the Old and New Testament. And in truth, an understanding of this theme is the foundation upon which we can, with great confidence, confirm and trust in the covenant of salvation through Jesus Christ. God bless.